Hello, I'm Dr. Gareth Moore and welcome to day 16 of my Solve of This, the Exit the Game Advent Calendar, the missing Hollywood star. I shall start as always by having a look at the story for today, but I thought I'd also mention some of my kids' books, because I haven't mentioned any in these videos. These are recent ones, word searches for 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds, and they're pretty much what you'd expect. But yeah, I've got loads of books for children. You can find out more about them on my website, drgarethmoore.com if you'd like. But let's have a look at the story for today. I should probably tear these actually introduction pages out now, shouldn't I? I don't need them anymore. It'll be quicker to find the story for the day if I do. Right, the 16th of December. It's a nice short one. Meeting the elderly lady has upset you. You were so close, but when you finally get the next door open, there is no trace of her. Trembling, you enter the set and are instantly soaked to the skin. Oh, great. You look up and see a large sprinkler system that drenches the set in heavy rain. Through the downpour of water, you recognise a New York street from the 1960s. Over the constant splashing, dripping and rushing of the water, you hear, very softly, a gentle melody. Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style. Of course! Breakfast at Tiffany's, the final scene. But apart from the film lovers, something else very important is missing here. Now open door 16, behind which you will find one riddle card, N1. Right, is there anything on the back of this? No, there's not, but I will tear this out and keep that just in case we need it again, but to be honest, it doesn't sound like I will. So let's have a look at the calendar and open the door for today. So door 16 we found yesterday was here. Yeah, down here. Right, so door 16 is here. With no further ado, let's open it. We're expecting one riddle card, and we have one riddle card. So there we go. Let's see what the riddle card has to say for itself. Oh no, the studio cat. Oh, we've seen a lot of cats in this calendar. The studio cat has run away, roaming through the sets. To follow her trail throughout the day would make a lot of sense. Is this supposed to be a poem? The studio cat has run away, roaming through the sets. To follow her trail throughout the day would make a lot of sense. Sort of. She started here, but now the rain has made her disappear. Find her stops 2, 4 and 7. The code will then be clear. So the words that are emphasised in bold are follow her trail, start here, stops 2, 4 and 7. Presumably 2, 4 and 7 refer to the day. So was there a cat in day 2? I appreciate you couldn't see that, but no, there was no cat in day 2. There have been cats. I guess the first thing I need to do is find all the cats though. Oh, stops 2, 4 and 7. It doesn't mean day 2. It probably means the second day in which I saw a cat. Oh, and there's paw prints here as well. Is that to let us know that cats aren't necessarily seen, but sometimes they leave evidence behind? How are we going to extract a number? So obviously the cat, if the cat was only in 3 days and those days were all numbered in the range 0 to 9, then I would say, well, fine, we'll find today's code, because we are always looking for a 3-digit number, which tells us where the next door is. I would say we'll find the days the cat's in, take them in order. And perhaps that is indeed what we're doing. It may be that the cat only did appear as far up as day 9. Well, I guess we'll find out. And if it didn't, if it appeared at higher numbers, we'll have to work out how we extract a 3-digit code from that. Because one option is that we're making shapes of things on the calendar, but I actually don't know how likely that is, really. It seems that we would have to have a lot of cats to trace out any digits. So how would we know when one digit ended and the next started? So that doesn't seem too plausible. Maybe if we have a look in the room, it will help us. So let's use my close-up cam. Right. I presume that's the final scene from Breakfast at Tiffany's. I've never actually watched that movie. It's very famous, I should. Well, there's clearly a cat there by the New York taxi. There are some bins, or if you're in New York, trash cans. Yeah. Is there some writing on those cobbles? Or was that just decoration there? I think it is just decoration because I don't see any other writing. I mean, it vaguely looks like it says H2, H7. It certainly looks like an H. Probably that's just visual noise because I don't see anything else there. If it was a digit, I'd say, well, maybe there's digits in the days with cats that I haven't noticed. Anyway, let's look above. Some of the doors have got this dot here at the top left. Dot is not the great description for it. Some sort of silver fixing in terms of the illustration. But yeah, I don't know immediately. I think to start with, I need to review, and this is going to be fun to film, all of the rooms to work out where the cat is, and I need to make a note of them. Right, well, stage 1. I need to write down what rooms have cats in, and I need to work through them one by one. So let's have a look at each room in turn and write down which rooms have got them in. Right, so room 1. No cat. Room 2. No cat. Room 3. A cat on the left. Room 4. Ah, a cat on the door. Room 5. A cat on the left, again with a fish. Day 6. Is there a cat in here? No, there's a cockatoo. Oh, no, there is a cat there sitting in its basket with an eaten fish. It's telling the story. Look at that. Right, day 7, up here. What have we got here? Oh, this room is, I think, just numbers. No cats here. Day 8. This was Alice in Wonderland, if I remember correctly. There's a cat on the right with a piece of string. Door 9. Ah, Back to the Future. Is there a cat in Back to the Future? I don't see the cat. It's very well hidden if it's there. Is it on the door? No. 10. This was the view of the calendar. 10. I don't see a cat here. No, no cat. Oh, wait, there's paw prints. And there's another fish here. But, well, somebody suggested to me these green marks are paw prints, and I think because there are very similar things on the calendar door for today, that perhaps that is exactly what's going on here. That was day 10. Then 11. 11 was Men in Black, and that's a cat in a great big disguise. No, there's no cats in there. And then 12 here. That was The Matrix. There's no cats in there. God, that would be deja vu, wouldn't it? Or Glitch in the Matrix. And there's 13. What an iconic line that is. Door 14. This was the room with the costume department. I don't think there's a cat in here. No cat. 15, which is yesterday's. No cat, but there was a woman vanishing, the one referred to in the story. Right, so let's just close all these doors. Let's work out where we've seen the cats. Right, so we saw a cat. The first cat we saw was here on day 3. There. Right, let me just rewrite that number so it's more visible on camera. Right, 1. The second cat we saw was on day 4. And the 6th cat we saw, well, we didn't really see a cat. But on day 10, there was evidence of a cat. A very well drawn paw print there, I'd like to think. So we've only seen the cat. We've seen the cat 5 times, and today. So actually today is 7 here. So we've seen the cat 7 times, unless I've missed some. So here, what does this mean? The studio cat has run away. Follow her trail. Start here. Find stops 2, 4, and 7. The code will then be clear. So this is stop 7. So stops 2, 4, and 7. 2, 7, and 4. What am I doing with that? Is the answer just the door numbers? It can't be, because that's 4, 6, and this is obviously 16. So it can't be the door numbers. What if this is, and that's counting the paw prints as evidence of the cat. I suppose it's possible there were paw prints on other days that I didn't see. Find just stops 2, 4, and 7. Maybe that's where the route stops. Am I tracing numbers? If we start here and go to 1 to 2, makes a sort of triangle. If we go from 2 to 4, it makes that shape. That doesn't help. If we go from 4 to 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think we're tracing numbers, because it is possible these are places where you start and stop on the trail. So what are we doing here? Is there evidence of the cat somewhere else on the calendar? Is there a cat here? I don't think there's a cat anywhere else on the calendar. I don't remember seeing one. And also, how would I associate it with the day? I don't think there's a cat anywhere else. So we're back to the rooms. The studio cat has run away, roaming through the set. Follow her trail throughout the day would make a lot of sense. I'm assuming this doesn't involve going back in time, like we actually have done. She started here, but now the rain's made her disappear. So this is 1. I think what I'm actually meant to be doing is following the story of the cat by what the cat's doing in the days, rather than following the door numbers. I just had the idea, because the reason I thought of this is because if she's starting here, and here it's 16, then that doesn't make sense. How do I know where to go next? But if we follow the story of the cat, right, okay, so if day 7 is the first, I'm going to keep the numbers on here. for the avoidance of doubt. But 7, she's relaxing. I'm going to write this in marker pen so it's more visible on the video. Day 1, she gets goo on her feet from Slimer in the Ghostbuster, so that clearly comes before the day with the paw prints everywhere. 2 has a ball of wool. 3, fish in mouth. 4, fish skeleton. So she's eating the fish. Perhaps it's confusing, I'm using these numbers on the calendar, but rather than the door numbers, but it will help me keep track, I think, better. 5, piece of wool in its mouth. Let's say string, even though it's actually wool. 6. Oh, she just takes fish. See, this is confusing because there's paw prints suggesting this comes immediately after the goo feet one. I think it probably does. There's no goo feet in any of the pictures. But of course, if she hasn't taken this fish and she's gone past the plate, saying she or he, I don't know what the cat is, that means you can't quite be sure of the ordering. There might be a reason why the goo hasn't gone away. But anyway, goo marks, goo prints. So we need a new ordering for our doors. So let's have a look. Well, goo feet, I'm going to label them A to D. So relaxing is first. We've been told that. Not A to D, A to G. Relaxing, we're told this is first. Started here, but now the rain's made her disappear. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, the goo feet come before she takes the fish, but what about the ball of wool? Does she play with the wool before she eats the fish, or does she play with the wool after she eats the fish? And also, I mean, I'm only guessing that I'm supposed to be working out the order of the story, but I think that's probably clued by this, right? So I'll persist with this. So in terms of working out the story, there are 3 things, aren't there? There's the bit with the wool, there's the bit with the goo from Slimer, and there's a bit with the fish. You could argue that the rain has washed away the evidence of the cat on this last day here. So you might say that the goo comes last. But then what order did you put the wool and the fish in? So I wrote last, thinking the goo has to be, the day with you see the goo has to be last, because then the goo's washed off her feet. So we're just seeing goo in every other door. Assuming it didn't run out of goo. And therefore that must be immediately before the rain. But then I've just remembered the rain is the first thing, so that makes no sense. Let's have a look again at this door. So look, today the cat's in the rain. So I didn't notice, but does the cat look wet in any of the other pictures, if that's first? So now I know what I'm doing. I'm going to look at all the doors again. So in this one, the cat is not wet and it is getting goo on it. That's 1. I'm going to go in the order I've labelled them. This is day 4. It's in a puddle. The cat's meant to be wet. All right, if the cat's wet on door 2, ball of wool, then let's assume that's the next thing. In which case, piece of wool in its mouth is next. And I think we have to assume that the goo happens before it takes the fish. I think we have to assume the picture with the fish footprints is immediately after the goo prints. So on the next thing is it gets goo on its feet, and then it goes to get the fish. And then it has the fish in its mouth, and then it's eaten the fish. So now I can relabel all my doors. So 7 is A. That's not very helpful, is it? Because I need to find the doors that are labelled 2, 4 and 7. Well, 2 is B, 4 is D, and 7 is G here. So this is so confusingly labelled that I think I better rewrite these. All right, this is now a mammoth solve. So we want days 2, 4 and 7. So 2 is originally door 4. So 4. And then the 4th place it visits, where's that here, was originally door 3. And then the 7th place it visits was originally door 6. I mean, it still is door 6, but you know what I mean. Right, so I really hope this is correct, because I do not want to film all those rooms again. Where were we? We were here, right? Door 16. So it wants us to go up right, up left, and up. And I really, really hope we have triangle, circle, moon. Well, there we go. Long process. We have found door 17, though. That was a difficult one, I think. I mean, maybe it wasn't that difficult at all, but it took a while to bring it all together. Probably you thought I was being ridiculously slow, but I also think that requires a little bit of thought. There were a couple of stages to go through, weren't there? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do please like the video down below and also subscribe if you haven't yet. That'd be great if you wouldn't mind. And do please comment. Let me know how you got on, if you solved it yourself, or let me know what you thought of the solve if you just watched it. But either way, I hope to see you in tomorrow's video. So until then, take care and goodbye.